when I say, I hope whoever designed this sprains their ankle every day for the rest of their life. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. Anybody that knows me knows how much I love my baby Skyy, but today I'm gonna do the top 5 things I hate about Skyy with my 2005 Lincoln Towncar. So some of it's gonna be a little bit nitpicky, and some of it you might be able to identify with if you own one of these cars. Some of it's gonna be specifically to this car of Skyy herself, because you know she be finicky sometimes. But yeah, let's get it started. Let me know if some of these, if you own any type of Panther platform or a Lincoln Towncar, let me know if some of these bother you too. So I'm gonna get started now with my number 1. Also, these are not in any particular order. All right, so here we go with my number 1 of things I hate of Skyy would be this cowl design right here. Y'all, I mean this when I say, I hope whoever designed this sprains their ankle every day for the rest of their life. So on this Lincoln Towncar, you can look it up on all the forums. 03 2011 has the same stupid cowl design that water eventually is going to leak inside your cabin. It's gonna happen. It doesn't matter if you clean it, whatever. I'm actually gonna show you how to fix that in another video. But basically, water builds up in here eventually and stands in it. If you don't have any of this clean, it's gonna run and get the inside of your passenger rear floor wet, and eventually it's going to happen on the opposite side as well. So the way they designed this, there's actually, I'm not going to take it apart right now, but there is a piece of rubber that eventually wears out on these, and it's like a filter, and once that rubber wears out, the water, when it rains, or I don't know, I haven't had any problem when I wash the car, but when it rains, the water overflows and just dumps into the inside of the car. Don't know why y'all would make that like that for it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So the fix to it is you need to get you some of this. It's water resistant, and run it where the actual rubber would have been once you cut it off and clean it off, and then let it seal back. Once you do that, you shouldn't have any problems with your leaks. But yes, that's my number 1 of things I do not like about my 05 Lincoln Towncar Skyy. So yes, the cowl design sucks. Stupid. Makes no sense. All right. My number 2 of things I don't like about Skyy. This might be a little nitpicky, but do you see how right here there's always like a gap, and that gap leads to where your door jamb is? So where I live at, I had problems with wasp, and almost every day, on 3-4 days, I look and there's a whole wasp nest in here that I have to continuously clean out, all because of how big of a gap there is. So annoying me, the reason these rags are actually in the car is every time I didn't want to deal with it, I'd have to keep my towel slammed in between the door to keep wasps from keep building nests in there. Makes absolutely no sense. Makes it look like it's leaking right there, and it's not. Have absolutely no problem with it. It's just the design. I don't know what the point of that is. If somebody knows, please tell me. But I feel like they could have figured out a better way to make this. So that's my number 2. My number 3 is going to be a little more everyone can identify with, at least if you have any type of Ford product. My number 3 is all of these plastic pieces that is in this car, mainly dash. As you see, this is cracked for absolutely no reason. And now on the opposite side, this button has also cracked, where it will not stay down anymore because of this little space right here, which you could probably see better on this side because this was the first one to break in the front. It's a little plastic piece I hold the button on, and without it, this stays up. As well as this stupid plastic part of the door handle. Yo, so let me actually show y'all something with this, because this being plastic, and so there's a little screw that goes right there that keeps all of this tight. And I'll show you on this side when it's tight, before all of this cracks around it. Let's see if it'll focus. Let's see if we can get it to focus. All right, before this actually cracks around it, the screw like this actually fits. You might end up having to put a washer on it to fix it eventually, but let me show you. All right, this one's tight, door opens, right? When it's not tight and it cracks around it and breaks, when you try to pull your door handle, yeah, doesn't work. So then, let me show you what you have to do. So you have two options. You can get you a screw with a head like that, same exact size, focus, which is, I'm gonna be honest, this is kind of hard to find. I tried to find another one because the rear door has now done the exact same thing, where with age the plastic cracks and the regular screw becomes too small to actually hold it tight enough for you to use the door handle, and you just end up pulling and nothing happens and your door doesn't work and you can't get out of your car. But what I'm gonna end up doing on all my other ones is actually still using the stock screw and just getting a washer that's about this exact size that the screw will actually fit through to keep it tight. Because like I said, eventually with age, that plastic is gonna break down and it's gonna crack and you're not gonna be able to get out of your door. And let's see if I can get this put back. And as you see now, my door handle works. But why you would make your door so dependent on a little plastic piece like that, that's going to break down and is going to eventually crack and cause issues, I have no idea, Ford, why you would do that. We just want to get out our doors, man. You know what I'm saying? Just simple, you know? We have doors. We need to get out of them from time to time. Good old Ford, man. You gotta love them. Gotta love them. So, my number 4. You guessed it. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It would be the air ride suspension. I don't know how I felt about this at first. At first, I loved the air ride. It rode nice. But it's one of these things on these vehicles. You're gonna have to replace it eventually. No matter where you live at. They're gonna leak. They're gonna eventually dry rot. You're gonna have some issues with it at some point in time. And you're either gonna have to replace it or decide to go coilovers and completely get rid of it. Sorry about that, y'all. Dog keep barking. But yeah, 2 years ago, I replaced mine back to stock. And like in my mind, I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's an actuality, it does not ride as smooth as it used to with the original air ride suspension. But also now with the wheel setup that I'm going, all of that's coming out of here anyway. Whole rear end is going to have to be redone. But yes, if you have one of these platforms, not all Panther platforms, I know all town cars, I think some of the Marquis had air ride as well. But it's a headache. It is definitely a headache. And I think even though I replaced it 2 years ago and don't drive it in inclement weather other than rain from time to time, but like no snow and none of that anymore, I'm pretty sure it still leaks. Only because If you sit this car down for a day, if I come back out tomorrow, well, I'm not gonna say a day, it's probably more like 3 or 4 days, and I come back out, and as soon as I cut the key on, it's trying to get back to this ride height currently. So even if I cut it off in the trunk, eventually it starts to sag down a little lower and a little lower until almost all the air is out of it, which again, if you don't have any leaks, it should stay the same height no matter what, especially with me cutting it off. So that being said, air ride, my number 4. I know it rides nice when it rides nice, but when it's a problem, it's a problem, and eventually it's gonna be a problem. Just like you always have to replace these, you're gonna have to replace your air ride. So that's my number 4. My number 5, stay tuned, see if you can guess it. Yo, so I was walking around Skyy, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, initially it took me a while to get to number 5. I kept doing 4. I could do 3 really easily, but to really come up with 5 things that I hate, I'm actually gonna have to go with my number 5. Y'all probably didn't guess this right because it was a trick question. My number 5, and this not even gonna affect the majority of people that own these cars, but if you are young-ish or you like to modify your vehicle, then you will feel my number 5. And my number 5 is not the wheels, but how they made the car if you're gonna put wheels on your car. Let me explain. Sorry guys, I lost sound for a second. My number 5 is a high offset on a rear wheel drive car. Ford, make it make sense, okay? The reason people like big American made vehicles is mainly if you like modifying your car, you could put any type of wheel you want to put on your car. However, why Ford built a giant rear wheel drive car and then moved your rotors out closer to the body of the car is beyond me. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, so if you don't understand how wheels work, high offset wheels means the majority of your lip is on the inside, aka back spacing is on the inside of your wheel. That's characteristics of a front wheel drive car, not a rear wheel drive car. A front wheel drive car doesn't have the same, should I say, wheel well space, blah, 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 as a rear wheel drive car. So you have to run a higher offset, aka you usually have a small lip if you have a high offset. Low offset wheels is how you're able to get the big lip on your rear wheel drive cars and is characteristic of rear wheel drive vehicles. So why they built a car that's rear wheel drive that should be able to fit a rear wheel drive offset, it doesn't. Obviously, y'all saw me when I had the wires on here. That standard offset is standard, aka for a rear wheel drive vehicle. The reason they poked out is because this Lincoln, technically if you're running a wheel on this car, you're gonna have to go with a front wheel drive offset. You're gonna have a small lip on your car. That's the only way that your wheel's not gonna poke out and be sitting out past the body of the car. Now, there is ways around it. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, but it just never made sense to me why you would build a big rear wheel drive car and then have the freaking rotor out so far that you literally need to run a front wheel drive rim, aka front wheel drive offset, on a rear wheel drive car. It frustrates the heck out of me, which is probably why you hear me ranting about this right now. Probably giving you more minutes on just this than anything else I've mentioned. But I got a couple honorable mentions. Alright, I'll take that back, y'all. It's only one. I have one honorable mention that almost made this list. I at the last minute was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that to y'all, but I'm not gonna put it in my top 5. I was like, I'm gonna do an honorable mention. So the honorable mention is gonna piss some of y'all off. I'm sorry, not sorry, a little sorry, but my honorable mention is when people mistake our town cars for the other Panther platforms. That is aggravating. That's one of the things that I hate about this. Like, why you would mistake this for a Crown Vic or oh, it's just like the Mercury Market. It's not. Same platform, but it's not. I'm sorry. And that's nothing against the Crown Vic guys. Nothing against the Marauders and the Marquis, and nothing against y'all. But it's not a Lincoln. It's not. You can go put in the year. It's an 05 Lincoln Towncar. Go put in the year. Look at the MSRP. Now, go to the same year, 05 Crown Victorian. Look at the MSRP. Look at the options. Do the same thing with the Mercury Marquis. It is and won't ever be a Lincoln Towncar. I didn't make the rules. It's just the truth. Still love y'all, because again, if it was not for the other Panther platforms that are more popular than this car, I wouldn't be able to get so many things aftermarket wise. Brakes, coilovers, supercharger. All of these things are because of the other Panther platforms, the Crown Vics, the Marauders, the Marquis, and I appreciate y'all. Don't think I hate y'all. I promise I don't. But just understand, this ain't that. Okay? This ain't that. So, again, if you like this video, like, subscribe, share. I'll be back with another one. I love all y'all, man. Especially Panther platforms. The Crown Vic guys, I appreciate y'all. We just not the same. You know what I'm saying? That's it. We're not the same. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one. Stay prayed up. I'm out. Hey, also, if y'all stay tuned for this long, understand what is gonna happen. You know what we're gonna be doing in a minute.